Sailing vessel Harvest Moon, this is your life. Beginning in 1973, Rasputin II was built and sailed out of Darwin, Australia, where she eventually moved up to the Mediterranean Sea, then on to Denmark, from Denmark down into the Caribbean, and from the Caribbean worked her way up to Beaufort, North Carolina, which is where I came upon her. Originally, Rasputin II was a ketch. And these are some of the earliest pictures that I have of her, some of them from the 80s. And as you can see, the logo is still part of her design today. I decided to keep that. These are some of the more recent pictures, late 80s, early 90s, and you can see some of the refit that was done then. These pictures are from down in the Caribbean and southern Florida. As you can see, at this time she is red. You could note that she no longer is a ketch. The mizzen mast has been removed. And this is a beautiful picture of her sitting in anchorage in the beautiful waters of the South. In the 1990s, sailing vessel Rasputin II fell on hard times. Here she is sitting in the front yard of a house down near Beaufort, North Carolina. You can see the hull painting is all peeling and rotted off. The pieces around the rudder were rusted. The skeg actually had holes in it where it had rusted through. The cockpit was in disarray where all the seating boards had rotted out. You can see they're all rotted. They were almost impossible to even stand upon. The front deck was in terrible shape, blisters and everything. You can see there the mast step. The interior, the ceiling was falling down. All of the paneling and stuff had all warped. You can see pieces of insulation hanging out. She was in really bad shape and in desperate need of some repairs. And that's where I came upon her. I had been watching this boat on Yacht World for about a year and decided that I was going to make an offer and see what I could possibly work out. And I made an offer. The offer was accepted, and so began the refitting of Rasputin II. And so the process is underway. Rasputin II had needed to be moved from Beaufort, North Carolina to Indiana, Pennsylvania, which is a major operation. This is approximately 575 miles. There are several things that needed to be done. One of them was, of course, removing all of the extra rigging and stuff like that and loading it on a truck.
Sorry, they have it loaded for these ones. I'll send you ones of them loading it later. You might get batteries charged.
You can see that we have a number of different people involved. It actually turned out to be a major event. It was kind of cool. It was sitting in a front yard and all grown over, and everything was really difficult to get out. So it was a major operation getting her out of there. One of the things we needed to do was, of course, retire the name of Rasputin II. And so we engraved a piece of metal from the rudder, and we engraved not Harvest Moon, but Rasputin II on it, and we returned it to King Neptune. These are some of the pictures of Rasputin II arriving at the Kramer farm in Indiana, Pennsylvania. It was raining. It was just not a good day whatsoever, so we weren't able to get the boat situated just exactly the way I wanted it to. But this is what it looked like after we actually got it back to Pennsylvania. And so the project begins. You can see we removed all of the portal windows, every single one, removed all the hatches, removed all the hardware, everything. There wasn't anything on the boat attached whatsoever, and now we're starting to put things back together. You can see the framework that I put for the hatches, and you can see what the front deck looks like. You can see we removed the mast step, and I rebuilt the mast step out of fiberglass. That's a little further on in the video. A lot of A lot of sanding and grinding. This is the first coat of barrier coat up on the upper deck, and you can see it's starting to come together a little bit, but there's still a tremendous amount of work to do. We hauled away easily 5, 6 pickup truckloads of garbage and trash, removing things just from the outside. You can see here, there's a picture. You can see the skeg and the rudder have been removed and what the back looks like. And that's an overall picture with a barrier coat on it and gives it a little bit more form. One of the things that we did was to remove the old bowsprit, and you can see here it was basically just stainless steel tubing that was wrapped around the front, and I rebuilt it, redesigned it, and laid it out a little bit differently. As you can see in the very front of it, I put a pad where we can mount a remote controlled searchlight. And that's a really neat feature, by the way, to have on the front of a sailboat. We also replaced the chain that was holding down the bowsprit with a solid rod, and I used fiberglass to make a grating up there. This is showing the new mast step that also was put in. And this is a closer look at what the bowsprit looks like. The back of the boat needed considerable amount of work. We needed to remove all of the steel that was around the rudder, and we redesigned it and rebuilt it. I built it in such a way that it would be able to hold a platform back there so that you could actually use that section. We built a new skeg. The skeg is now out of fiberglass instead of steel. And this is the framework that's attached. It's attached with 6 points of contact instead of only 4, so it's a little bit stronger. We made some really good hinges, used cutlass bearings and everything in order to make to hold the new rudder. The old rudder was wooden. This new rudder is fiberglass, and you can see it, that it's hung there. We also built an arch across the back with a place for radar and also a place for holding a wind generator. There's arms on it that reach out to hold a dinghy. And this is kind of what it looks like when it got all put together and was assembled down in Deltaville. So it gives you an idea what it looks like. Doing the interior was a tremendous amount of work. This is a looking at new electrical panels that were put in, and that was just some of it. The boat was 100% rewired. Did not want anything remaining of the old. We used new paneling. I put tongue and groove paneling in. Did new insulation. I don't have any pictures of the new insulation going in, unfortunately, but that changed a lot of things. New work in new cabinetry, new kitchen cabinets, a new microwave shelf. Replaced all of that. That's a new stove that's in there. The white section above the stove is a stainless steel splash, but the plastic covering is not. It's a new galley sink. All of the fixtures were replaced. There's a tremendous amount of effort involved in upgrading the interior. You can see where I made some nice shelves to put in. I kind of liked the shelving in that. I took out the old companionway hatch and built a new framework for that. This is the new companionway hatch that was fit in. It's about 1.5 inches wider and bigger than what was there before. And that gives you a sense of just how extensive it was. You can see the backsplash. That's actual ceramic backsplash that was installed. So significant upgrades to the interior. One of the things I was exceptionally proud of is doing the portals. I custom built fiberglass frames for all of the portal windows, and that turned out actually pretty nice. Made real nice trim, made it really look kind of professional. And these are just some of the pictures of them. The interior was perhaps one of the most time-consuming and hardest parts. I replaced the salon table with a folding table. This is the aft cabin, and you can see the paneling in that. This is at least a before and after picture. Kind of gives you a perspective anyway. So it's time to do the deck. But the question is how to do it, what to put on it, and how to make it look sharp. And so I contracted with a company in Ohio to measure and design and prepare a composite material deck that's anti-skid, designed to reduce the temperature of the deck in hot sun, and make it look like basically a design deck. And so they built this for us, and we laminated it onto the deck, and it has held up really, really well, and looks really sharp, and looks really professional. And I'm kind of tickled with how it turned out. Make no mistake about it, I'm starting to get excited. The boat is starting to look like something impressive. We have put all the barrier coats on, and I am now applying the red paint and the white paint up on the upper top sides. We used Interlux Perfection, a two-part epoxy paint, and did the roll and tip system. Uh, you can see here we put the logo back up on, and so it's starting to look like Harvest Moon. And this is a picture looking at the back. I wanted to retain some of the original of the boat. I also stuck with red because red is highly visible out in the sea in case of an emergency. Well, I'm excited. I'm moving the boat to Deltaville, Virginia. I spent a lot of time researching where to take the boat and got the most responses back from Deltaville, Virginia, and responses from Stingray Point Boatworks, and the Fahrenholtz there were very, very helpful in giving me information and making arrangements for me to bring the boat down to them. As you can see, the boat is painted, and the logo is on the front, and the new name, Sailing Vessel Harvest Moon, is on the boat. It's named Sailing Vessel Harvest Moon after the Indian lore of the harvest moon being the harvest in which you bring in the crops and then sit back and enjoy the fruits of your effort. Once we got to Deltaville, Virginia, then came the process of getting the boat ready to put it in the water. There was some assembly required there. We had to put the stern portwood on and the bowsprit on. We also were going to have to step the mast and do all of the rigging, so there's still a lot of work yet to be done. And these are some of the pictures of us leaving the trucking company in Pennsylvania, and this is first arriving at Stingray Point Boatworks, Deltaville, Virginia. And I'm excited. No question about it. So it's time for the final assembly. We are in Deltaville, Virginia at Stingray Point Boatworks, where we were going to do the final assembly. This includes stepping the mast, assembling both the bow and stern pulplets, putting on all the lifelines, all new rigging, all new wiring up the mast. So there's a fair amount of work that needed to be done. It is now April of 2017, and I am seeing the beginning of the end on this. Or I should say, perhaps the dawn of a whole new era for Sailing Vessel Harvest Moon as she gets ready to head into the water. We launched at the end of May in 2017, and I am just thrilled beyond measure to see it reach this point. To be honest with you, there were times that I seriously doubted I'd ever make it this far. And the day has finally come for Sailing Vessel Harvest Moon to be in the water. I'm joined by Dutch Bellenkamp and Anna Hilting to help
Hey
me.
everybody!
What are you doing?
I'm coming home!
But the boat is back in the water, and I'm excited. Many, many adventures to come. Since it has been in the water in 2017, it has sailed more than 6,000 nautical miles, been to the Bahamas twice as of right now, and heading back yet this fall to go there again. But the project is still underway. There's refits, and upgrades, and things to do, but we have her in the water, and she's sailing.
You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away. You spin my world around, 'cause you're the peace I finally found. You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, 'cause you make me melt away.